Hey everyone, welcome to the Married to the Market podcast. I'm Camry Stoffel, wife, mom of 3, salon owner, and full-time realtor with Town and Country Realtors.
And I am Chance Stoffel, husband, father, and mortgage lender with Motto Mortgage Preferred Partners. We are married to each other and we are kind of married to the market too.
Before we dive in, a quick disclaimer. This podcast is for content and educational purposes only. We're sharing stories, insights, and opinions from our experiences in the industry.
We also want to disclose that Town and Country Realtors and Motto Mortgage Preferred Partners are partnered companies. And yes, we're legally married, just keeping everything transparent so we can stay compliant.
This podcast is where we get real about marriage, parenting, and real estate. The messy, exciting, sometimes overwhelming, but always meaningful parts of life. If you're building a home, a family, or a future, you're in the right place. Welcome back to another episode of Married to the Market. I'm Camry Stoffel.
I am Chance Stoffel.
And this is episode 18.
Yes.
Crazy. It is a first-time home buyer alert. It's every step to buying your first home. So
This one's really important for all the first-time home buyers and even people that maybe forgot the process. But really important. Stay tuned.
yeah, little refresher. So
Or if you don't know anything about buying a home, I think this is the place to definitely check it out and see what you need to do.
but like you said, even if you've bought the home in the past, every time you get into it, it feels like a different process.
Mm-hmm.
I was just talking to my sister, actually. She's bought multiple homes. And this last time buying her house, she said it felt like an entire new process. Like she had no idea what the next step was.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always just nice to have a little refresher. And you might think you know everything about it, and you just might learn something. So,
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look forward to it.
Yep. Any life updates?
None.
No life updates?
No, I'm just kidding. Cameron wants to talk about her cat.
We got a cat.
And it's antisocial. So we're paying to feed a cat, clean the litter box, and it doesn't like us.
Oh, if anybody's a cat person, you know it takes time. They're anxious, changing locations. And we rescued him from the shelter. And his name is Benny. He's 5 and he's 14 pounds.
Big cat. So extra food, extra litter box.
No, he's so sweet though. And Chance actually picked him.
I did because he's declawed. It's the most logical choice you could have made.
We had like a criteria of what we were wanting.
Yeah.
A lazy big cat just to like lounge around and cuddle. And the moment we went in there, he like was super submissive, rolled to his back.
That was important.
Yeah, because I was like, already he's that comfortable with us. Just let him but then instantly not that comfortable, and we've just been really scared and nervous. So
Was this coming up on 2 weeks tomorrow?
2 weeks tomorrow.
So
But I said it could take months.
yeah, he's coming around. He is doing better.
He is
and we
doing
have
better.
the 3 kids, so I at times want to hide in the basement. So
Yeah, I get overwhelmed.
Totally get it. And then our daughter started swim lessons, which is very cute and awesome.
And she's actually good.
Yeah. Yeah, she's going to be an athlete one day. For sure.
Olympic.
Yeah. But no, it's pretty cool. At the YMCA, they have private swim lessons. So one-on-one training for like, half an hour,
Half an hour.
And it's pretty neat because, they teach them how to, swim, obviously, but it was neat that how she gravitated towards like being able to climb out of the pool, jump back in. So that comfort level with water is important.
Yeah. I really like they call it monkey crawling, and you are scaling the side of the pool. And I just really like that because I feel like that's a survival tactic. If say she were to fall in, she could scale the pool till she gets to the stairs, or she quickly learned how to climb out. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree.
But yep, little updates. But let's dive into it.
Dive into it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
All
Something I want to say, it's normal to be overwhelmed and fearful when buying a home. So don't think that you're the only one. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't think that you have to do it alone. We're going to get into that, but just know that you're not the only one that has those fears.
Yeah.
And don't do it alone. So.
And don't wait till you feel like you know a lot about it before asking questions, because we kind of want to meet you where you're at and see all your questions and answer them, and just kind of ease the process a little.
Definitely.
So, all right. We think step number 1 is talk to a realtor. And sometimes you'll hear people say talk to a realtor or talk to a lender. I am finding that I think I'd rather people talk to a realtor first. Talk to me. Um, because there are situations that I've seen so far where I've came in contact with a buyer and they've already been pre-approved with somebody. And although there's a ton of lenders out there, a lot of realtors have certain lenders that they like working with and that are trusted lenders that we know give a really good pre-approval and that are trustworthy.
Mhm.
Um, and so when you get a buyer that's already pre-approved from a lender that you've never heard of, it's a little off-putting because you don't know how creditable the lender is. We don't know if that was a pre-approval that was just
Mhm.
gave to them and it's not actually true. So,
Yeah, some listing agents, might not accept an offer if it's from a certain lender that might not be credible or has ruined the deal in the past or someone that they've never heard of. So
yeah.
I've seen that before.
Mhm.
And sometimes you might not know why your offer didn't get accepted. They might not tell you, but deep down they might be like, "Yeah, no, not this person." So they might accept a worse offer based on your pre-approval on your lender.
Yeah. So, yeah, who you choose as your lender is very important,
Yeah.
but a trusting one is
I
more.
think for me, like Camry mentioned, choosing a real estate agent first. And I think but that's important because she can refer you to a trusted lender. But I always think that the financing piece is important
Yeah.
first, but essentially work with a credible real estate agent, and then I think they'll guide you in the right direction. So to get pre-approved first,
Yeah.
because you don't want to look at homes that you're not pre-approved for, such as loan type, down payment requirements, things of that nature. So once you know what you're qualified for, how much money you need to down,
Yeah.
the agent can really strategically help find you the home. So
And I think what we see every day is instead of people finding the realtor or finding the lender first, they find the house.
yeah,
They are finding the house and then they're sending it to people like, I want to see this today. I want to make an offer today. And it's like, that's not realistic. Like,
right,
you need to, you know, not do that first. Get the important things out of the way first. Get your realtor, get the lender, get the pre approval in the process because you don't know where you're starting at in that process. It could be weeks before you could actually get a pre approval letter, or it could be an hour. You really don't know.
right. Yeah, I would think pre-approvals. I've gotten contacted on like a Saturday and had pre-approval in like 2 hours. And that
Hmm.
really depends on the buyer and how quick they can give me documents and things like that. But the pre-approval is not a commitment; it's just a game plan. So
Yeah.
it allows us to take a look, behind the scenes, income, credit score, baseline, what you'd be pre-approved for your credit, see what your liabilities are. And sometimes people find out they have liabilities that they didn't even know about. And
Yeah.
then that's an issue because then we might have to do credit repair. I mean, unless you're pulling up your credit score all the time or know what your debts are, people have, late payments that affect things. They have, charge-offs from collections, things like that, that might still be affecting their
Yeah.
ability to get a loan. So definitely there's a lot that goes into it.
There is a lot that goes into it. And a lot of people, I feel like if they hadn't gotten pre approved yet, people are standoffish on it. I feel like they're just, I think, scared of the commitment.
Hmm.
It's a little bit scarier, but I've had multiple situations of like showing homes to people, and the whole time I'm talking to them about pre approval and, where are we at in the process? What are you guys thinking? And it's always like, oh, yeah, we're not worried about it. Yeah, don't worry. We'll figure it out. When we find a house we love, we'll figure it out. But then we just had a situation of like, they
Hmm.
didn't. And we found a house that they absolutely loved and they lost it because they didn't get the pre-approval in time. And when we started getting into it, things were popping up that they didn't know were there.
Yeah.
So then we're trying to figure all that out and we ended up losing the house.
Yeah.
So they weren't in the area to be finding a house that they loved because they needed pre-approval.
Right, because it was probably a month that you were working with them, and
Mhm.
then they found the house. I had reached out to get them pre-approved, but it wasn't a priority. We weren't able to convince them that that was the proper steps. So they fell in love with the house, and unfortunately, no pre-approval. They accepted another offer, and
Yep.
I think maybe our backup offer, but we actually found another home for them, which is great. So
Yep. In the meantime, we got
in
the
the
pre-approval
meantime,
done
yeah,
in time and found another house and we're good.
right, yeah,
But still, I mean, you don't want that to be you.
yeah,
You don't want to fall in love with a house that one, you can't afford, or two, that you aren't able to get a pre-approval in time in case there's other offers coming in at the same time.
I recently had an investor find a property that I liked. they were getting ready to go under contract. He said, "Do you think I would be pre-approved?" And like in my mind, I already knew that he was, but in his mind, he knew that he needed the pre-approval before he could proceed. And I'm like, "Yeah, here it is." But
Yeah.
he knew. So I just kind of assumed that he knew, but I kind of failed at telling him like, "Yeah, this is what you're approved for," because I've worked with him in the past
So he knew
and
enough.
he knew. But we have the loan product for investment properties to where you just need a down payment and it doesn't look at your tax returns, W-2s. So I mean, I knew as long as you can verify that you have funds to put down, we'll be good, but that's not always the case.
Yeah.
So,
There's a lot that goes into it that people don't realize.
mhm,
But
and there's a lot we don't know, like with title work and things like that. Like we entrust in other professionals just to kind of do their job, and I haven't had the time to peel back the layers with that yet. So,
yeah. And getting pre-approved, like what do you need to give someone a pre-approval?
so for me to issue a pre-approval, I mean, just the initial conversation to see what their desires are, their hopes, their pain points, like why is now a good time for you? But outside of that, W-2 tax return, pulling someone's credit. Initially, we'd probably start with the hard credit pull because some companies will issue a soft and then they'll pull the hard right before the closing. And the issue with that is the hard credit pull peels back everything. So if you get to the closing table and they do a hard credit pull and realize that the loan's not going to go through, that's a big issue. So I'd rather do it on the front end. And with that in mind, the pre-approval would be good for probably just a month or two, but the credit reports themselves, they're good for 4 months. So once we
Okay.
pull your credit, you can shop for 4 months and not have to pull your credit again. So
And I feel like I've learned that every lender is different there.
yeah.
Like I've talked to some other lenders that are like, "Oh, I'll do a credit pull and it's only good for 15 days."
Mm,
Or and I talked to someone else that was good for maybe 1 month.
yeah.
So it just different lenders, like maybe just depending on who you guys are working with.
You might be.
But
Yeah.
there
Well,
was
different lenders too.
different
They would
lenders.
accept, old credit reports, but
Right.
old as in 120 days.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's the main thing. Just W-2s, past 2 years, past most recent pay stubs, and then we would verify assets for down payment. So sometimes that's not relevant because we'll do like a down payment assistance and you don't have to bring cash to closing, but we still want to verify some assets. And
But one thing to always have ready is bank statements, W-2,
yeah,
and pay stubs.
pay stubs. Yeah,
Pay
we always
stubs.
ask for driver's license just to verify, identification. And then we have an online secure application process to collect all your documents, request those documents, and just have you a portal to log in and communicate back and forth and then download documents. So, but
Perfect.
yeah, that'll allow us to calculate your debt to income ratio accordingly because different loan types have different requirements for debt to income ratio and credit limits. So once we know your credit score, once we know your DTI, debt to income, we can then determine the loan product.
And then the loan product would be FHA, conventional, VA, USDA.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, there's other options, but those
Yeah.
are the main. So that's always good for the realtor to know because we might be looking at homes that would never go FHA
Mhm.
or don't even fit in a
It's your
USDA
government loans might
map.
yeah. USDA
So,
map.
yeah, so there's different things that I don't think a lot of buyers understand the beginning of like, we don't want to
Mm,
start home shopping until those are established because depending on your loan type, it's going to depend on the kind of house you can get.
yeah,
And then obviously the price range. So
right.
as soon as we have that done, we can say, this is your price range you shop in. This is your loan type.
Mhm.
So then the realtor knows we need to look at houses that are FHA and our price range is 250,
Yeah, I
you
could do
know?
a better job of getting that pre-approval out early and then allowing the agent to shop. Sometimes it's the pre-approval comes in late because they don't ask for the pre-approval. They just find a house that they like versus getting pre-approved. So ideally you get pre-approved. I would then share that pre-approval with your agent that you're working with, telling them
Yeah.
max price and not just, max price as far as what you're eligible for, but also what you're comfortable paying monthly because your pre-approval, I could have pre-approved you for a lot more than what you're comfortable paying monthly,
Yeah.
most likely. So I always try to pre-approve somebody based on what they're comfortable paying, so there's not payment shock. If you're paying, 1,200 for rent, are you okay with paying $1,800 for a mortgage payment? So there's not a payment shock. I always tell people to set aside that extra $600 a month. That way, you're slowly adjusting yourself to making those payments while you're getting pre-approved and shopping.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing's worse than like a payment shock middle of the way.
Hmm. Yeah,
You always want
definitely,
to know that ahead of time. So,
100%. And the pre-approvals vary based on the property. So,
mhm.
I mean, if you find a property that won't go USDA and you have to go conventional, your down payment, we're gonna have to verify more income. A lot of times people might think that you need 20% down to buy a home. That's not true either. I mean,
Yeah.
first time home buyer, 3.5% FHA, 3% conventional, um, USDA $0, VA $0.
And then a good thing is a few of those loan options also have a down payment assistant
Right.
option, which is what we call a DPA.
Hmm.
So, if you're a first time home buyer and you're wanting to go the FHA route, there is an FHA DPA, down
Hmm.
payment assistance, where you could potentially be getting in a home with no down payment. And then, depending on your realtor and the negotiating,
Closing costs.
closing costs could
Yeah.
probably get zero. So, we've had a few people go
Hmm.
in and at closing and pay $0 and get the keys to their house.
Right. And
So,
even like pre-closing, outside of closing, we might have to pay for the appraisal. But if we have you pay for that with a debit card, we can then have the seller pay for your closing cost by seller concessions. Did
mhm,
you know that?
no.
So if you pay for it for a credit card, you can. But if you pay for the appraisal with a debit card and you can verify where it came out on your bank statements,
Mhm.
we can have the appraisal reimbursed with closing costs
If there's money left
if
over.
there's money left over. Yeah.
Ooh,
So I always try to use up all the money. So that's just one thing that I always do ahead of time
for closing
for
costs.
closing costs. So if the sellers elect to, not elect, but we negotiate for them to pay, say, $10,000 in closing costs, say the closing costs are only 9,000, we have 1,000 left over, we can then buy down your rate. We can eat up all that cost, paying for the appraisal.
Mhm.
So that's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The magic of a lender. We
Yeah. I
love
just
that
did that
part.
with our clients with the USDA loan. Had them pay for,
Perfect.
yeah, with a debit card. So,
Oh, amazing.
yeah.
So that's all done. I was
Yeah.
gonna ask you for the update on that
That
this
is
morning.
done. Appraisal's
Perfect.
paid for, inspection scheduled, and then we'll do the appraisal after the inspection in the event that they wish to back out of the deal. That way we're not having the appraisal done because we can always get it refunded now that it's scheduled. But once it's completed,
Which we'll get to that in a little
yes. So
bit.
where we go now?
Our next step, number 3. So start looking for properties with your realtor. So at this point, you found your realtor, you have spoke with the lender, you've gotten your pre-approval, and now we're on to the next step.
Hmm.
We are we have your price range and we have your loan type, and now the realtor is going to talk to you about your criteria, what bedrooms, what location, um, school district, just different
Hmm.
things that we want your criteria to be. So, some realtors, myself included, we have resources that give you guys property alerts, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So, any of my buyers, I instantly put them in the system with a property alert, and it's specifically to your criteria. And this is going to find anything on the market, new or old, and it's going to, I guess, old as in still active on the market, but it's going to email you all the houses that are on the market right now in your criteria.
Hmm.
So that helps you not miss out on any opportunities. You don't want to be a day late and see a house that's already gone. So as soon as it pops up on your phone, property alert from Camry,
Hmm.
click it. If you love it, send it to me. Let's go see it.
Without that, you'd have to get on Zillow and you would have to
Shop.
look at all the properties you've already seen, but also catch the new ones that may have just hit the market.
Right.
Or they could also be listed wrong with the square footage wrong. The price might per square footage might be off, or maybe the description's wrong. Maybe they're missing something. So a
Right.
lot of times it helps just have an experienced set of eyes, just overlooking even some mistakes that may have been made on listings as well.
And some things people don't realize is, say you're shopping on realtor.com and someone else is shopping on Zillow, there might be houses on Realtor that aren't on Zillow
Hmm.
and vice versa, or homes.com. There's so many different platforms. Was it a Fin, Redfin,
Redfin?
Redfin? There's just so many. So our resource is all of those tied into one.
Sure.
So there's houses that you might not ever have seen because you're always on Zillow or you're always on realtor.com.
Hmm.
So it's nice to kind of talk to a professional that is a part of an MLS because you're getting like houses from everywhere,
Right.
which is nice.
Yeah.
But at that point, looking at properties, going to showings, and it's okay to, go to a house and look at something and you're like, oh, I really don't think I like it. Like, you really don't know until you're there in person sometimes, which is fine.
Hmm.
But it's kind of nice for me. I like when I do have buyers that we've seen multiple houses together because there's little things that I listen for that they might say that they don't even realize that they're looking for, that I'll kind of critique criterias here and there. And I'd
Hmm.
be like, oh, I actually just seen a house last week that sounds just like that. Let's go look at it. So I don't know. Just looking at houses. Don't be afraid to give a few a try,
Right. I
and
always
see.
think it's interesting too because the purchase price might be the same. So they're gonna think like, if I'm pre-approved for 250, 250 here would be the same, right? But taxes and insurance might be different. So
Yeah.
that just totally throws things too, because I mean, depending on where you're at, taxes and insurance could vary, $100 a month.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah,
or
what
more,
people's
really,
question
plus or
is,
minus, but
why is this house's mortgage going to be more expensive than this house,
right,
although they're the same price?
right. Purchase price. Yeah.
School district,
School
which is
district.
the property tax
Yeah.
change. You know, Dresden
Township.
Road is a very desirable
Yeah.
street. Property taxes are very expensive on
Hmm.
Dresden Road, opposed to another road a few blocks down.
That would be township, right? Not just a road.
Um, I'll have to check.
So that's like Falls
Maybe
Township.
township.
Like
Yeah.
our taxes went up like 40%
Hmm.
last year. I don't know if that was the same for all townships.
Not for all townships. Well, a lot of it too is if
Oh yeah.
there is something happening. See, I mean, I guess Dresden Road again. We just had a
Waterline project and they repaved.
water line project, and they
So
repaved Dresden. So the townships associated with Dresden got higher taxes
to help pay
because
for
to
that.
help pay for that. Now, someone in South Zanesville didn't pay for that
Sure.
because supposedly they expect you to stay in your township range when
You
you're
don't directly
using.
benefit from Dresden being paved if you live
Correct.
in a different town.
But Falls does
Falls
because
does.
we use Dresden
Yeah.
every day. So we're going to be utilizing that new paved road.
Then also your taxes for that township also go, or taxes go to the schools and different
Yeah.
amenities and
Yeah.
fire departments and things like that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's a lot of different things that people um, need to consider.
Hmm.
So that's always a question that we get often.
I always think it's interesting too whenever it comes to home insurance. Like your proximity to a fire department will determine if your home insurance is more or less. Because if you're closer
Yeah.
to a fire department, it'll be less because their response time's quicker. They can put the fire out, they can save you. But if
Hmm.
you're further away, I mean, it might be a complete loss. So they insure the home for more. It's more expensive. Insure it for the same amount just because of proximity to a fireplace.
Now, is it something that you need to tell them, or is it when you put your address in, it already
They know.
tracks? You think they know?
Yeah.
That's
They
true.
track firehouses and then they just know proximity, probably use a Google map type thing and see how far away
I
it
see.
is. Yeah.
I think that's really
Or if
cool.
it's like a manned firehouse or unmanned, I mean, it probably all plays into it.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
there's a lot. There's just stuff we don't even know.
Hmm.
But flood insurance, I mean, you might find a house that's in a flood zone. We
Yep,
had one that
happens.
we had one that it literally killed the deal. Their debt to income ratio is 55%. Without flood insurance, it was like, 59% with.
Hmm.
And the one quote was a government, or I forget, it was a private flood insurance. It was $780, but the one we originally got was FEMA government flood insurance, $2,800 for the year.
It didn't kill the deal.
It would have 2,800 bucks.
It would have.
Yeah, we saved it.
We did save it.
We were able to
There's
shop around and get a different insurance provider.
right, which
Yeah.
is nice when you do have professionals in the industry
Right.
that do have trusted people that we work with.
Right.
Like
Right.
these are issues that we see every day, and we have people in place to help.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's something people forget too, is like when buying a home, like I need home insurance. So, I mean, I always try to get a quote for everybody just so they can hit the ground running and have a baseline number. And then you can also reach out to, whoever you want to use. But I always get that quote. And at times, I find that people save money because we bundle auto insurance, home insurance, all the things. So
Hmm.
I find more times than not, people are pleased with the home insurance provider that we quote.
We quote them with. Um, all right, number 4,
Yeah. What is it?
put in an offer.
Oh,
My favorite.
yeah. I
Obviously,
got another favorite.
you have another favorite?
Yeah.
Closing?
CTC.
CTC is
Very
a good
good.
one. Okay. So number 4, put in an offer. So at this point, obviously you've been shopping, you've got your property alerts, and you found a house and we're putting an offer in. Something that I like to do with my buyers is I love making them a CMA, and that is a comparative market analysis. And that tells you what the market is saying that home is worth. So yes, the house might be listed
Mm,
for 250. Um, that doesn't mean that it's only worth 250. It might be worth more or less. Um, and so a comparative market analysis isn't saying this home is only worth this. It's pretty much saying this area, the neighborhood, it's only going off of comps, comparative market. So comps are neighboring houses within a certain range. In town, we do a mile. um, what they have recently sold for. So if it's been properties that have recently sold within kind of roughly 5 months, um, so your neighbor's house sold for 300,000, but this neighbor over here only sold for 200,000. They're going to average all of those things and see what your home's price range should actually be in.
It's a very unbiased way of doing it because it's not someone's opinion like, "Oh, this place is not worth that." It literally doesn't matter what Camry and I think
Yeah.
because it's determined by recent sales.
Yes.
And you'll also find that people overlist properties, but they'll fall in line with recent sales because those homes aren't actually selling. That's just what they're listing for, trying to capture a higher price point.
Mhm.
Those homes either won't sell or they'll have to drop their price
And
to fall in
sometimes
line.
I think they do that knowing
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a lower offer. I'd rather list it a little high and fall low.
Well, yeah,
And sometimes.
if you're comfortable at 250, list it for 270 because as a buyer, you always want to get a win. So if they're go okay with 250 and they say, "Hey, I'll take this at 250, not 270," you say, "Okay, sold," because that's what you want anyways. So the buyer wins, but you win
Yeah, every once in a while.
as a listing.
Sometimes you don't know what the seller's goal is. They might be needing to quickly sell and go. So they might be listing it pretty aggressively. They might list it at 250 and the comps come back that it's worth 280. And you're like, wow, that's actually a pretty good deal. There might be something going on here where they are just trying to get rid of the house.
Hmm.
Um,
And that's a good thing for you to know as a buyer's agent. Once you know that pain point, you can really press on it.
yeah.
And
And it's kind of nice because, roughly you can kind of see what year they bought it in. I can always see if they ever refinanced. I can see how much they bought it for.
right.
It's hard to obviously know an exact number, but you can know like somewhat of a rough estimate of like where they might be at on a payment of like,
Hmm.
okay, they obviously have this much to pay off on the loan.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we at least need to help them out getting their mortgage paid off. They might want to have a little bit of a wiggle room for a down payment on their next home. And also the market's probably went up since then. So we're in a good spot in the market right now where a lot of people purchase their houses for less and they're selling it for a little bit more to pay off that mortgage to get a little cushion for that next home. But it is worth it now because that's where we're at in the market.
Hmm.
So I feel like I'm finding that a lot.
Right. Yeah, we've been fortunate because everything's been up and to the right. I mean,
Yeah.
so we haven't really had a down market. I think we've found where COVID pricing starting to stabilize and come down, but it's not like drastic declines or anything. So
Right.
this conversation will be different in a declining market. So I
Yeah.
mean, we've been really fortunate, but might be a good time to take a moment and talk about our sponsor for today.
Chance the lender.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
All right. So I don't know if you've seen my cup that Chance got me, but it's a Stanley, which all the girlies know that's the cup to get. And then he actually got it engraved and it says,
Fueled by.
"Fueled by Chance the Lender."
Yes.
Pretty cute.
Shout out.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Chancey.
Yeah. I have a lot of those made.
Yeah, not
And
just me,
yes, not just you,
not
but
just
you
me.
got the first one.
I got the first one.
Yeah.
I actually got it before he got them engraved, and he refused to let me drink out of it. So, y'all, I literally had to stare at this cup on the counter for like a week.
It's true.
I was so upset,
Yeah.
but I got it.
Yeah.
So,
I was happy with how they turned out. I had a local guy make them, so if
yeah,
anybody needs any engraving done, I was really pleased with the turn times and the price and, um, the quality of the cups and stuff, so
yeah.
I'm
Reach out
excited.
for the
Yeah.
contact.
Yeah, definitely.
Did a great job. And it's been in the dishwasher.
Yes.
No chipping.
No chips.
Good. You're funny. Okay,
Camera didn't know
so
about that.
I didn't know that was happening.
No.
What
So
closing costs and what type of loan type they qualify for. So we already kind of talked a little bit about at this point, you're going to know what your loan type is, FHA, conventional,
mhm.
USDA, etc. Um, we're also going to know at this point, do we need to ask for closing costs or are you guys going to cover it yourself as a buyer?
Right.
And so when you're putting in an offer, this is a really big question that a realtor needs to know because this is the time to ask for it. So um, I feel like I've run into a few people so far of they want to buyers want a deal. You kind of just said that. Like everyone wants a deal. Everyone wants to feel like they got something for a deal. You don't want to pay everything full price. I get it. However, if you feel like asking $10,000 less is you getting a deal, you're getting screwed over
Hmm.
because if you have them pay $10,000 in closing cost, that is so much better because now you're saving $10,000 of your liquid at
Mhm.
closing. Um, and a lot of people don't realize that, well, I really need that listing price 10,000 less. And I can say that because I was the same way when we were buying a house. I was like,
Mhm.
no, I just feel like I need the price to be at this in my head to make it worth it. However, $10,000 less on a 30-year mortgage,
It's nothing.
50 bucks a month, depending on the, I'm thinking of the 250 house.
Was it like 5%? If it's a 5% interest rate, every $100 is $5. So every 1,000 would be 50, so it'd be $500 interest
Total
total.
on a 30-year.
That would compound over time. I guess I don't know the math on that.
Normally it's around $50 a month. So it's like, are you really needing to save $50 a month? That's one meal that you
Right.
don't have to go out to dinner for, you know, or are you willing to save $10,000 at closing? Because
I
that feels like a better deal to me.
Yeah, I think liquid, if they're paying your closing costs 5%, 10 grand or whatever on 200,000, like, um, that's so much more important to have cash in your pocket
Yeah.
opposed to saving $10,000 on the purchase price, but not having $10,000 in your pocket. So,
Yeah.
um, if it's that important to you, make extra payments monthly and principal only, and that'll shave, time off your loan. But I didn't know this until getting licensed. I don't know if we were always like hardcore, like real sticklers with
We
making
were.
offers,
Yeah.
but only from the homework that I did, nothing that anybody told me. And
I always felt like I needed a deal.
I'm bad about that.
You are bad
I,
at
I
that.
was at the point to where I wanted it less, which is still true because I think I would come in less, but also ask for closing costs.
You can come in a little less.
Yeah.
On the market today, I don't think you say at 250,000 house. I don't think you can come in 10,000 less and then ask for 10,000
It really
because
just depends.
you're coming in 10,000 less. So you're offering 240. But then you're asking the sellers, "Hey, I need you to pay 10,000 at closing." So the sellers are actually only getting a deal or an offer of 230.
Yeah.
$20,000 less, that's kind of a lot. And honestly, it kind of makes people like you're going to offend them. This is their home,
Mm,
and you're obviously finding quality in the home because you're wanting it. So you don't want to offend anybody as long as it's worth it. If the CMA is coming in at, you don't
it
agree.
comes back to the pain points. I mean,
Yeah.
if the house has been on the market for a day, yeah, I'm offended. But if it's been on the
Yeah.
market for 100 days and it's the only offer that you're getting,
That's different.
that's where I win as a buyer.
If it's been on the market for too long, we obviously know it's probably listed too high.
Yeah.
There needs to be some sort
Well,
of wiggle room.
they might personally have it listed right in their mind, but the market's not there. People aren't buying at
Maybe.
that price. That house is not, it's just that house. It's
Yeah.
bad time. So
Yeah, we
as
see
a
houses
buyer, you
like
can
that a
come
lot.
in and less. I mean, people accept cash offers 10% less because they don't have closing. They don't have to wait. They can move now.
Yeah. I
So,
see houses like that happening. Like, we live in a town where 250K for a home is the average. I see
yeah.
houses like that sitting, they're worth it, but they're not selling because those are houses that are $500,000 houses,
Mhm.
$600,000 houses where
There's not enough buyers.
the house is worth it, but there's no buyers in our town that can afford it.
Right.
And that's the issue.
Yep.
A house for 250, if it's sitting on the market for too long,
It's the house.
it's the house.
Yeah. There's enough buyers at that price point.
Yeah, everyone's at that price
If
point.
you sell a house right now, it's decent for 70 to 120,000. That's a great thing for a home buyer, making whatever, 25, $30,000. But there's a lot of investors at that price point that just scoop them up, pay cash
It's true.
and turn them into rentals. So,
Yeah.
um,
So yeah, I feel like it's having a realtor. It's knowing
you
the
just don't know
market.
that
It's
stuff.
knowing enough.
Yeah.
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 But
That's what that. Oh, something else we did, like as home buyers, which you'd done it recently. And the other agent said they'd never seen it before.
oh,
This is like,
gold.
you're not gonna see it a lot, but it's something you can do, and psychologically, it works because we would submit 2 offers, and psychologically, they have 2 offers, so they feel like they have to choose one, but both offers, the buyer wins. So,
Yeah, because you feel at that point you're pinned in a corner
Mhm.
that you have to make a decision.
'Cause you have 2.
They don't realize I can just say no.
Sure.
I'm gonna make one of the options
Yeah.
work. Both of them are benefiting the buyer.
Which yeah.
I mean, it's not that they're not benefiting the seller. Obviously, they're selling their
Yeah.
home, they're getting paid, they're making their money. But it is a good trick.
I think it's fair game. We're in this to help get the buyer the best deal, and the seller can either accept or not. That's
Yeah.
their thing. But we're gonna present the offer, and I just think it's genius, like psychological warfare, and I'm here for it. So
Yeah, and you obviously make them a little different. I'm in a situation right now where we came in cash deal. You can come in a little less when it comes to cash deals. They're too easy not to. We came in 20,000 less, cash deal as is, you do nothing, let's close and get this done. Or 7,000 more and not as is. We want a couple things fixed and done,
mhm.
still cash, still close in a couple weeks. Um, so it's just kind of like, oh, I only have these two options. What am I going to choose? I have to
Right.
choose one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think that's where not every agent's the same because everything you're talking about, there's some people that don't know about that, which is fine. It comes with time. But you asking for what you charge as a percentage to work with somebody, they're getting their money's worth because you're saving them money.
yeah,
Someone else to charge you the same price and not bring this to the table, that's where you're missing out.
yeah. But that just goes to researching who you're working with.
Yeah.
What are you offering them? Every, a lot of buyers just think like, oh, I'm just going to hire anyone because realtors are all the same. We all offer different things. When it
Mm.
comes to listings, we offer different kinds of marketing, different kinds of photography, videography. Some people don't offer it at all. Buyer's agents, I've worked with some people that are like, oh, yeah, like no property alerts, like you send me the house, let me know if you like it. We'll go see it if you want, the kind of thing. Like it's
Mhm.
just so many different styles. You got to research what you want and find the realtor that does that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that says a lot about you as a realtor, just the things that you are doing, that you've done, and where you're going, and the level of service that you can bring to your clients is really good and just getting better. So it's really nice seeing agents that are full time, really giving it their all,
Yeah.
and it's cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's awesome.
Ditto
Ditto.
to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Number 5,
Sure.
offer accepted and we're in contract.
Yay.
Yay. We're always very excited about this one.
That is great. Yeah, that's great news.
So pretty much what happens at this point, I have a lot of buyers call me and they'll say, all right, what's the next step? We're in contract. Like, now what? This is
Pump
a
the
little,
brakes.
yeah, now we're a little scared. What are
Yeah.
we doing now? And so a lot of times, like, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm driving the boat. Let's figure out. So first thing we're going to do, all the documents are signed. If you look on your contract, it's going to show what the title company that you're going to be using. At least in our local MLS, that's what we use. So at that point, the realtor is going to get all the signed documents, send it to the lender, let him know, like, hey, we're in contract, do your thing. And then we'll also get those documents and send it over to the title company
Hmm.
and be like, hey, we're in contract, do your thing. So now you have the lender doing their job, the realtor's getting all the documents in order, and the title company's getting their title and stuff figured out for the title search.
At this point, I would hopefully already have the pre-approval
Yeah.
because not all listing agents ask for a pre-approval. So you can go under contract and not have a pre-approval, but it'd be silly
Yeah. And a lot of times you want to have it
because that's
to
why there's
show.
a financing contingency.
Yep.
So at this point, I would already ideally know the lender. I would already have everything, your documents. I'd be ready to just submit the underwriting.
Yep.
And I would, put my team in place, my processor. Camry works with title companies, they're all different. So ideally, not ideally, but she would just know who's better, who's not, who she uses, who she has that relationship with,
Yeah. The
and
history.
the systems. So
That's, and I feel like it's not something I almost even give the option of like this, and this. Like, I have a couple that I use because I know their rates and I know that they're very comparable and like they do a really great
they
job.
just get the deal done.
They get the deal done. They're
Yeah.
very trustworthy. They're very hardworking. It's just, the title companies to use,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah. And that's the same for if you refer a lender,
Yeah,
yeah, you
they're a preferred
legally
partner.
have to refer so many, but, like, in the back of your mind at times, maybe, like, who might be better for this deal depending on demographics or the loan itself.
Yeah.
Commercial lenders, I can't do the loan,
Mhm.
um, yeah, there's just so much there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the deal, you get under contract, the buyers at this point are like, "What now?" So, the agent does their job, if you always I think always get the inspection. What do you think?
Yes, I always get the inspection. If you are in a situation where you're not, it's because things are really competitive right now and there's multiple offers coming in. If it's a and I always say, it's not up to me. I don't want this coming out of my mouth.
Mhm.
If that's something that you're comfortable with and you would like to waive the home inspection so you can get this deal accepted, that's on you.
Yeah.
You know, I would all so I have a house right now that's as is. So even if the inspection came back bad, doesn't matter because we bought this as is.
Mhm.
So he still did a home inspection for himself. And we put it in the contract. We're going to do the home inspection for the buyer's knowledge only. Because no matter what, whether you want to do it or not, you want to know everything that's wrong with the property,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
just
I
for your
agree.
own. Yeah.
I'm just thinking we're kinda biased on that because our last house we bought without an inspection.
Because we weren't knowledgeable on it though.
Well, we wanted the house,
We
and it
wanted the
was really
house.
competitive.
It was super competitive.
COVID and first day on the market, they had scheduled showings. We didn't want that to happen.
And I think we got really lucky because I don't think anything would have been bad enough for us to say no.
No.
But I feel like I've done enough home inspections now. There is no way I would
Would you
ever
have
do
done
that
one on
again.
that house? You
100%.
would.
100%.
What was alarming?
I don't think anything is standing out alarming. I just feel like there's so much inspected I didn't realize that we should have known.
We weren't complete dummies though either. We put in an offer with
I'm
earnest
like,
money,
"Ah,
but we could have pulled out. So we waived the inspection, but if there was anything that came up, we could have had a contractor go there and look at it. Yeah, we waived the inspection.
you can't." At that point, you have an inspection contingency. So
Yeah, but there's no inspection contingency, but there's probably a financing contingency. So it's not ethical, but I would have had no. I would have just lost earnest money because I don't think they're going to sue me. So,
yeah, I mean, I always just say do it, and you don't
and
want
that's what we're trying to say here.
just do
I'm
it.
just like devil's advocate. Like
Yeah,
that
I'm
was us.
just do it.
I think we did it wrong. They're not expensive. $400 if they catch one thing that we could then negotiate and say,
If they
hey,
would have caught a bad furnace, that was how much?
yeah, if maybe we bought in summertime.
$10,000 a furnace, or we could have spent $400 on an inspection.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
Every time. I would have been pissed, if that would have happened, but
Yes. However, say you wanna waive the home inspection. That's the case, and that's what you wanna do.
yeah,
Awesome. Ask for a home warranty for 1 year.
I didn't even know about those
Me neither.
until
So, now we say, like, if there is something that you are iffy about, get the home, like, warranty because
hmm,
it sounds like, "Oh, it's a whole 'nother insurance, that's scammy and schemey and blah, blah, blah." But if you have something happen in that 1 year of owning that house, anything that is big appliances, so dishwashers, washer, dryer, furnace, HVAC,
mhm.
but AC unit, like everything. If something goes wrong in that 1 year, depending on the home and warranty, but they'll either come back, repair it, or repair it and replace it.
Well, it's like $70 to call them out, so they come and look at it for $70. If they determine that
75.
it needs replaced, they replace it for that $75. There's no
Yep, you don't have
additional
to pay anything
charge,
additional.
but you pay $660 for the full service upfront.
Ask your seller to pay for it.
Ask your seller to pay for it. That's where we utilize all of the seller concessions,
Yep.
so
So when you came in with your offer, you're gonna say, "We're waiving home inspection," if that's what you wanna do. "We're waiving the home inspection, but we want the seller to pay for a home warranty."
or you just don't say that because they might get worried, and we just ask for the seller concession, they don't know what the money's for, and then we just apply it to that. They don't have
Get the
to
home
agree
warranty.
to what we you know,
Yeah, your closing costs can be used for multiple
multiple
things.
things.
You have to talk to your lender
All
about
of
it.
them to benefit the buyer.
Yes.
So we always try to get as much money as possible.
There's different things that happen throughout the process that we're always in favor of the buyer. So if there's extra money in that closing cost, that extra money, if you're not using it, it goes back to the seller.
Seller.
And it's not this money cash to the buyer.
Mm-mm.
It's not for that. There's certain things that we can use this money for.
Right.
Buying down your interest rate, paying for your closing costs.
Reimbursing your um, appraisal.
Really? Oh, for the debit.
Yeah,
Reimbursing your appraisal. Um, Paying for the home warranty. There's few things that we can use
mhm.
it, but if you don't use all of it, that will go back to the seller.
Also, like escrow account, like building your escrow.
Escrow
We didn't
repair.
talk about that, but like some closing costs aren't actually a cost; they're passed through pretty much because you're building your escrow to pay for future property taxes and insurance. So you have all of that in one payment, opposed to like right now, the city of Zanesville, our property taxes are due today.
Are
I think that's my reminder,
they?
but I haven't paid them yet. If they were escrowed, they would have been paid. So
Are they not escrowed?
shame on me. They're not because I like to control that money because your escrow could change.
Yeah.
It could be underpaid, and then you would actually still have to pay.
Ours was like
Yeah, we overpaid into the escrow and
we
got like
overpaid a lot.
yeah, we got like a couple $1,000 back.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, it was cool, but it's just
It was cool in the moment of like, this is a hefty check.
interest
Thank you.
free money that I just gave the
The escrow.
whoever.
Yeah,
So
that's true. Okay. So offer was in, we got accepted. Moving on to the next step is the inspection period. So we've kind of already covered that a
yeah,
little bit. Um,
a lot, right?
a lot. So, well, technically, one thing I wanted to say is I've had buyers. I my favorite is when we're in this process and a buyer was like, I have no idea anything about inspectors. Who do you recommend? That is my favorite because then I'm like, okay, awesome. I have inspectors that I've worked heavily with
Mm-hmm.
and that I refer and that I trust, and people that are very honest that I know they're going to call me and be like, this is what's really bad, or this isn't actually that bad. This is how you fix it. It's going to be pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
So I love when they get me that question because legally I need to give the buyer three inspectors that I like, here you go. Here's my three that I trust. Do your own research, choose who you want, tell me who it is, and I will schedule it.
Right.
And so I love that because I already know it's going to be a good inspection. Like, I know that they're going to be very honest. Now, this might be a terrible house. I might have the biggest red book thrown at me of everything that's wrong, but I trust their
The
opinion.
inspection's not good news. It's always bad news,
You're not
and that's
paying
what you're paying
someone
for.
you're not paying someone to tell you, like, "This is a beautiful
Yeah.
home. Awesome."
Yeah.
You're
Job.
Yeah, you're paying for someone that's like, "There's a dent over here. That's not good. This needs fixed."
Yeah.
That's what you're walking in for all bad news. Do not
That's what you want.
expect that's what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want it to be nitpicked like crazy.
Uh-huh.
Um, so at that point, we have 10 days once you're in contract to get the inspection done. When the inspection is done, they will send us a report, and we will have all the information in front of us of what needs you know, repaired, if it's significant or not. Um, and at that point, we have a 3-day remedy. So when you get the report, if you are like, okay, there is something wrong with this, it needs fixed, I don't feel comfortable moving forward, that's when we stop, we make a remedy report, and we say,
Mhm.
sellers, we want this fixed before moving forward. And they can say yes, they can say no. But at that point, that's your contingency to say, nope, this scared me, I'm out, or all right, seller's gonna fix it, let's move forward, we're good.
More times than not, it's not a big deal. Like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, sometimes it might be,
I
right?
think it depends on how you handle it because I've had people call and like, the porch is falling through, or
Right.
things are insane, and
Oh, sure.
and it's almost just like that does not sound right. So like, you want to like, I'll call the inspector and he'd be like, that's not what I said. They're just like, oh, okay. So you really gotta
I think it's
figure
important
out
too
what's wrong.
because they also know the different loan types. So they'll know like, yeah, there's no way this goes FHA. And then
Yes.
we know before paying for the appraisal that because that's a concern, we can double down and double check and say, yeah, you're right. So now you've just saved $600 by not paying for an appraisal because that's your contingency. $400, you can back out of the deal. They defined all the issues.
I think we've done enough FHA that I have my eyes set on a lot of things, like, if I'm
Right.
doing a walkthrough, and a lot of realtors won't walk through the home with you because they're like, "I don't wanna give pressure," and I'm like, "I am walking through the home with you because I have an eye for, like, what we need to look at."
Mm.
Like, there's certain things I'm like, "Hey, No GFCIs here. No GFCIs here. This whole thing needs a railing. This whole thing needs this. There's chip paint here. That's going to need fixed. There's little things that people aren't going to catch because they're like, oh, it's cosmetic. And it's like, it might be cosmetic to you, but it's going to stop the loan.
And that could save you
So,
money too, because if you have those addressed before the appraisal, you don't have to pay to have it reappraised because the appraiser is going to catch it, flag those for things that will hold up the loan process, and then you have to pay them to go back out and
yeah,
reinspect. So if you catch
yeah,
that ahead of time, address it, do the appraisal, and don't have a reinspection fee.
yeah. And most of those things are going to get brought up on the inspection.
Sure.
So, and I'll always call, like, I always tell the listing agent, listen, I don't want you to think the buyer's being picky, asking for all these things being fixed. We have an FHA loan. These are FHA required. I know it's going to get brought up. Let's either fix it now or, if the appraiser does bring it up, just guarantee that your seller's going to fix it. And they're like, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So, and it's always minor things like add in the handrail right here. That's going to cost you $15 to put
Hmm.
on. This it's little things and it's things that people, even buyers are like, I don't need a handrail. I'm like, "You don't, but the FHA appraiser does."
Hmm.
So, we're gonna go ahead and get that done, and if you wanna take it out after, cool, go for it.
Right.
But there's just certain things that you want to ask for to get fixed before moving forward. But if you're comfortable with where the house is at, awesome, we'll void the remedy and we'll move forward. And the next step is the appraisal.
Or if it's as is and you know this and have the option to go conventional, you just avoid all that by choosing a different loan.
If you can go
Yeah.
conventional. It's always and conventional's the best loan type. That's what they say,
Yeah.
because it's the easiest for, everything,
And
you
there's no
know?
longer a minimum credit score for conventional as long as it,
Mhm.
is approved eligible, which is a automated underwriting system that we use.
But
So
the interest rate's a little bit higher,
depending on the
correct?
credit score, yeah,
Depending, okay.
yeah, if it's lower, yeah, I think you'll see a hit there.
So, appraisal period. Now, up to this point, you always ask your realtor, you know, who do you recommend lender-wise? Who do you recommend appraisal-wise or sorry, inspection-wise and home warranty-wise? Warranty-wise, what home insurance-wise? Like, everything is, we can recommend a lot of people to you.
Right.
But when it comes to the appraisal, no one can know because it has to be an unbiased opinion. So when the lender
You can thank 2008 for that because there's just people bias. I could reach out to an appraiser and say, "Hey, look, I need this property at 250. The deal's dead," and they'll go out and appraise it for 250.
yeah,
But now we use a companies that manage the appraisals for us. It's called a area or appraisal management company, and they manage the appraisals and they actually order the appraisals. So our client pays for it, and then they put the order out there, and appraisers pick it up. I can't know who the appraiser is until the report comes back.
yeah,
And that removes the biasing. So that way I can't like, hey, go appraise this. And if we're
yeah,
friends, he's not gonna ruin a deal for me. So
yeah. So that way, like, we don't really know who it is. The listing agent finds it first
Mhm.
because obviously he's scheduling the appointment with the listing agent. Um, so we kind of always know who the appraiser is at that point, and then when the appraisal is scheduled. So at that point, this is kind of the slower process. I always tell my buyers, like, I've been talking to you every single day heavily. Right now is when we're going to start slowing down because there's not a lot for us to talk about. There's going to be things that your lender is going to talk to you about and getting your loan figured out, final conditions figured out. The appraiser is going to do his job, and it could take 2 weeks. So we're going to let him do his course. When the appraisal's done, we'll get the report, and then we'll figure out from there.
Yeah. And depending on the property, like if it's a complex property, riverfront property with no comparables, the cost tends to be a little bit more. Like I've seen appraisals be fairly expensive, quadplexes in a rural area
The cost
because
of it,
there's no comps. So they then have to search out further, 60 miles to find other comparable sales to then determine the value of that property. So if you have a quadplex where no other quadplexes are present, you can't do a comp within a mile. You have to go out further. They have to go out and take pictures of these other properties. Like there's a good bit of work that goes into it. So
for an appraiser.
yeah, they
Yeah,
definitely, earn their money. So
they do. Now for like single family
right. You
in
just go
town,
down the street.
it's pretty it's
Right.
pretty not basic, but he could quickly get his job done, I
Yeah, I
would
will
say.
say like one of my first deals ever. I'm I don't want to say, knock on wood, but the appraisal could come in low.
It could.
And we've seen that in towns because Zanesville's got historic districts. And we had a property on Brighton to where it's in a historic district. But if you like in town, they only went out, I think, half a mile to a mile. And There was no comps. The value came in $50,000 less than
What we had it in
what we
contract.
needed to go for. So that just completely ruined that deal. So what we did is we disputed that appraisal multiple times, trying to get them to use different comps, look at different metrics, letting them, helping them understand that that property was unique and that they need to, for, and it was tough. And
But this happened on the worst day
we did
ever.
not win that.
We didn't win. The report came back while I was in surgery, and I was getting my wisdom teeth taken
Oh,
out.
oh,
And so
terrible
Chance
time. Yeah.
woke me up from this
Well,
and was
I
like,
waited to tell you.
he did you? It did not feel
You were
that
in the
way.
surgery, and
Well,
I had the
I
kids
was
in the car.
I was out of it, but I was at home at that point. I was on medicine and all.
We drove home an
He
hour.
goes, "Wake up, we have to work." And I was like, "What?"
I knew it for a long time. I started on that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I remember you waking me up and you were like, "Here's your laptop. You need to do some stuff because something's happening." And I was like, "What?" And I'm like, it took me, I was doing CMAs like crazy. And a normal CMA takes me like 20 minutes. Took me 3 hours to get this CMA done because I was so out of
Well, we
it.
also had the listing agent. I mean, she was on our side, but ultimately she was unhappy because of
Yeah.
the appraiser.
And it
Um,
wasn't, I don't believe it was because the house wasn't worth it.
no, that's the buyer's
That's
opinion.
it's an opinion.
The house
It's
was
a,
nice,
it was so
but there was
nice.
no comparable sales.
So he had to just go off what the report was telling him of like, this is only worth this much money. But but then that was just for FHA because every appraisal is different per the loan type. So if you have an FHA, it's an FHA appraisal, a conventional appraisal. They're different. So an FHA is very picky.
But for them, it doesn't change the comps.
No, but they did. We lost that deal. It went back in contract with a conventional loan, sold for what they wanted it for,
Yeah.
and it was fine.
Yeah, the problem with FHA is, that case file number sticks to that property.
Yeah,
So that appraisal, it would take the lower of the 2, I believe is the way that it works. So,
if they got in contract
yeah,
for another
if they
FHA.
wanted to get another appraisal, I mean, if it comes in higher, that's fine, but it's still gonna go off the lower of the 2.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, every once in a while that does happen. Now it only happened once last year. So I don't think it's as
yeah,
common, but it does happen.
it does happen.
But a lot of times what happens is say we're in contract for 250. It comes in at 255, but he's also asking for things to get fixed.
Right.
Hand railings need fixed. This whole
Those
basement
are
needs
safety
repainted.
things.
Yeah, there's things that need fixed and it almost gives it in a way of like there's 5,000 more like let's raise the listing price, the offer price 5,000 and the seller is going to quickly use that 5,000 to repair everything before we close.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of like the comfortable spot of like what happens a lot.
I feel like during COVID, I just joked that they did drive-by appraisals because they didn't go in properties.
Yeah, it's true.
So, that was kind of a unique time. Whatever the house was listed for
Yeah.
is what it appraised for.
Well,
So,
people during COVID are the people that are mostly selling their houses now. And so I've had that conversation often of like, what do you mean they're going to come in the house? Last
oh,
time I had one done, they didn't even come inside. I'm like, oh, that was COVID.
yeah.
They definitely come inside now.
A really weird time for all of us.
Really weird time. They do their job now for
For
sure.
sure.
And, whether we like it or not, they do a good job.
Yep.
But okay. Once your appraisal report is back, if there's certain things that need fixed, at this point we can ask, not even we ask, if the appraisal comes back that something needs fixed, it's a requirement for the seller to fix it. So they can fix it or the buyer can say they'll fix it. But no matter what, it has to get fixed to close.
Right.
So if an entire deck needs painted, which is often what most of it always is
Chip
for
paint.
FHA, chipped paint. If you have a painted deck, if you're thinking about painting your deck, don't.
No, stain it.
Stain it. Like if you are painting that deck and it chips, it ain't going FHA.
Right.
Um,
This last one we did, we tried to get the appraisal whenever it snowed,
so we didn't see
so
it,
they didn't see it, which would have worked, but
but it melted the day before.
uh,
Um, anyways,
is that unethical?
yeah,
Very. Okay.
but anyways, but right now we're living in Ohio. I don't know if you guys know this right now, but we just did an entire snowstorm. Um, and we had 17 inches of snow outside.
17
So,
snowdrifts.
snowdrifts,
Yeah.
they reported 17.5 inches, whatever. But there's no decks getting painted right now.
Mm,
So if you are in a situation, the appraiser is saying deck has to get painted to close, you have to get creative.
mhm.
And there's some lenders that allow it, some don't. But we just did one that was needing us to paint a deck.
We, as in Chance and I, one of the lenders that I work with,
Chance
allows
and his
repair
lender.
escrows.
Yes. And we did a repair escrow, and it's promising to paint the deck within 90 days.
Mhm.
It's not getting painted now. It's freezing outside. It's super snowy. But in 90 days, it's going to get painted. They've already closed. They're moving into the house. Deck's not done yet, but in 90 days, it will be.
Right. Yep. And we had to get 2 bids, and they took the higher of the 2.
Yep.
So,
So, and they put that money in an escrow account. The buyers ended up paying for it, although it was sellers or buyers. The seller said, we're not paying for it. Buyer said they would. So things moved forward.
yeah.
Money's in the account. We closed, and now it's going to get done.
Yeah. Yeah, they set aside 110%. So, I think the bid was 3,500, and then the 10% would be 350. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it worked out. I got the deal done. So,
Yes. There's just little things that, have to
it adds stress, but
happen.
we never take no for an answer. So,
That's always my thing. I'm like, you're not gonna tell me no.
like,
I will
just tell
figure
me
out
the
how to do
problem
it.
so we can figure it out. Like, I don't
Yeah.
care what your opinion is with the deal being dead. Like, no, just
I just think there's a loophole
let
for
me go to
everything.
work. Yeah.
There is something for me to figure out every obstacle, and I will do it. But, okay, next step. Final conditions. This one's more of a you
Yeah. Yeah, final conditions, I mean, if you do a good job on the front end, there won't be many conditions, but,
for your loan.
for your loan. But there's always, after underwriting, they then issue conditions, meaning we would like the buyer to further explain what this may have been. Like, you own this property or you sold this property. Like, what was it? Like, do you still own it? Did you sell it? Do you still retain it? So
Did you
just
live in it?
do you live in it? I don't know how they get some of this information because I would like to use it for myself, but they just find things that you wouldn't think they would.
And honestly, it can be super annoying. I feel like I've
Yeah.
I've heard buyers say, like, "Why are they needing all this information?" It's annoying and it sucks, but it's just random things that popped up
Hmm.
that they need explained before trusting you to pay your loan back.
Yeah. Or like one of the things like final conditions, like, hey, we noticed this is a manufactured home. Um, we need
HUD tag.
HUD tags. And for instance, this last one we did, the HUD tags were removed. So what we had to do is we went and found, so the listing agent or the buyer's agent and listing agent did a great job because they went to the county. They found out when the mobile home was put there. They found the tax records saying that it was affixed and it's deeded as real estate. And then we recovered an old appraisal, which had the HUD tags, the serial numbers. I was able to then get the IBTS report and the approval letter. I paid for that myself and got that report. We rushed it 3 days, got it on Tuesday, closed on a Thursday. So that was the final condition to clear that loan, to get it clear to close. So
Yeah.
so just little, it's always something different, but you kind
And
of
it's
know. But
I've never seen it not pop up. I actually got an email today from a lender that I have a contract with right now. It was a lender, like I had mentioned earlier, of a buyer coming in already pre approved. I didn't know anything about this lender, so I'm still learning. Um, However, he did email me and was like, "Hey, it's like, we're in final conditions. A couple things popped up, but they're figuring it out and they're working on it." So it's
who's
kind of
they?
nice. My buyers.
Okay.
So a few things popped up for your buyer's final conditions. They're working on it. Just want to let you know.
What
I'm like,
was your
okay,
what was your close time on that? Was it 30 days? So the time you enter a contract, you
yes,
typically disclose like we want to close in 30 days. That changes on the loan product too. Because
it
different
does.
ones have, manual underwriting or more conditions. Government loans take longer. So
This was um, an easy one,
an easy one. So
30
I'm
days.
curious to see like when you get a CTC,
Yeah.
like
And I think it was nice. They came pre approved, like I mentioned. I didn't know anything about the lender. They did. They were actually friends with the lender. You know, I had never heard of the company, I'd never heard of him. So I'm a little more like, oh, I don't know if I can trust the pre approval. I'm not too sure about
you
this
just don't
guy.
know.
You just don't know. So, I am working with him. We're in contract and he's so far doing pretty great.
Yeah.
So it's a company that I'm like, okay, I do know that this is a reputable company.
Now tell me, was that a lead that clicked on Realtor or Zillow? Because we never talked about that. Like the little boxes, like click for additional information. Because Zillow and Realtor is pretty smart.
It's one of the two.
Okay, well, they then sell leads. So if you're a buyer shopping on Realtor or Zillow and you click on that box,
It says talk to an agent,
there are then companies, which all of them do it.
such as my brokerage and
They
all
all
the
pay for
brokerages.
leads, and that is a paid lead. So whenever you click on that button, the agent gets the lead. They then reach out to you to help you buy a home.
And it's not the listing agent.
No,
Everyone that I
it
call
could
for
be
that,
not for them
rarely. It would have to just be a coincidence
unless you do homes.com.
unless you do homes.com.
Because the listing agent, if you click on that, it always goes to a listing
To the
agent.
listing agent. So if Realtor, Zillow, if you're clicking on that, talk to an agent, a lot of people will say like instantly, what all can you tell me about this house? I'm like, whoa, like I just got your name, I just got the house. Let me do a little digging, and I can get you in any information that you need. I'm not the listing agent. I don't have that info just yet. And a lot of people get really confused by it. They'll say like, "Isn't it listed by your company? Isn't aren't you the listing agent? Like, I'm really confused how you got my number."
Mhm.
And if you hit that button, talk to an agent, it's huge. It's normally right there. It's going to come to a random agent,
Yeah.
and they're going to answer the phone because they pretty much paid for you to click on that.
Right. It's
And
important as an agent to be an expert in real estate and not just that property.
yeah, yeah, and
Because Camry can, other agents can help you with any property. Like I feel like sometimes you don't have that face to face. There's no attachment. So if they don't like what you say, they will then go and click on another link
if
and
you keep clicking it,
get another agent
yeah,
reaching out to them. So that's how agents get in front of buyers. They're maybe not direct to consumer, face to face, referral based. They might be paying for leads, which is fine, but
mhm,
that's how they get in front of buyers to be able to help them buy a home. So it's not always a warm introduction. It might be, hey, I don't know you, you don't know me. Let's learn about each other and see how we can do business together because it might not be a good fit.
yeah,
So there's something to think about there. But
new
so that's
laptop.
just the lead thing. I mean, it's a big business in real estate.
It's
So
confusing. I mean, it's something that I didn't know before I was a realtor. I
yeah,
expected to click on that button and not be bombarded with
yeah.
phone calls and texts.
And funny story, I actually didn't know anything about it until being in the industry,
Mhm.
but I'm trying to build a relationship with an agent in town. I messaged him and I don't delete my text messages ever. So I had text messages from 5 years ago, and this agent actually had my lead.
Oh my
He reached
goodness.
out to me, text message at the time. I said, no, thanks. I'm not interested. I'm actually working with another agent. Thanks, though. So at that time, they didn't care to ask, but he reached out to me
Mhm,
trying to work with me, and I was already working with an agent. So
mhm. And that does happen.
dumb me probably clicked on a link
Mhm.
and,
I clicked them all the time. And honestly, I remember being in high school.
ooh.
I just thought that was so cool. Like, I'm like, "Oh, I love house shopping." My parents were, like, in the real estate business. My dad was a contractor, my mom was an
Uh,
agent, and I like, our family tradition was to get in the car, go to the movies, get popcorn, and drive neighborhoods and look at houses,
mm,
and so that was just my life, and so I would scroll Zillow all the time, and I would look at houses. I'm like, "That's super cute. I would love to live in that one day," and I'd click on a button, and then I would get bombarded with texts. I'm like, "I'm the person that I hate."
mm,
Because everyone's alcohol leave, and she like, I said the other day, I'm like, "This girl was 16, and
right.
she just clicked on a button that cost my company $70."
Yeah, so it's important, like, if you're working with an agent and you find a home that they haven't already sent to you, if you click on that, another agent's gonna reach out to you, and they might not be respectful of the agent that you're working with and try to gain the business, which is understandable if they don't already know.
Yeah,
Um, so if you're working with an agent and you find a home, just simply share the address, send a link. But if you click on the link, someone will reach out to you to try
yeah.
then and then work with you.
And then know too that, like, we're in an industry that if you're working with an agent, we legally can't step on other agents' toes.
Mhm.
So if I am in a contract with a client, because if I wanna show you a property or you wanna see a property with me, we have to sign an agreement that we're in a relationship now, and you can't see the house without that document being signed. So, we've been looking at houses, we're in a relationship, a contractual agreement, and you're also working with another agent that you didn't tell about me and I didn't know about them. but they're not showing you properties yet. And that
Mm,
actually happens a lot. But
mm,
people don't understand, like, this is coming from a situation of there was times back in the day where I would not me, but an agent would show someone properties for 8 months straight and never found anything. And then randomly that person went with another agent for 1 day at one showing, and they got that house in contract and they sold it. That other agent just kinda got screwed over on the 8 months that they spent working with you.
this
So
sucks.
and it does suck. So,
Did
there's
you warn that?
contracts now,
Yeah. Go ahead.
that put that into place of, like, we're in an agreement. If you wanna see anything, let me know and we'll get you in there, but we're gonna do this together.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think, like, we're in a business to where we don't get paid unless the deal closes.
Right,
Everything we do on the front end is in hopes that we can build that relationship and get the deal done together. So if
right.
Camry's working with somebody and warms that client up, educates them, gets them looking at homes, if they look at another house with a different agent and don't use the agent that's already put in all the work, they don't get paid.
They don't get paid
So
anything.
I mean, we just know stories where people have gotten babysitters to go out and show homes, all the sacrifices that they've made, the phone calls, the texts, emails.
Yeah,
That's how agents get paid,
yeah.
myself included. Like,
I mean, that's how we're making a living for our family. We're
right,
putting food on the table by doing these
right,
deals and getting them to the closing table. So, I mean, and then in situations where they just don't close because things happened in the middle of it, we get it, but we also wanna work with that buyer again to, like, let's keep going, let's we're gonna find another home, like, and the goal is to help you guys, get into
right.
your next home, get into, like, your forever home because it's an amazing feeling and I love helping people, but it's also my job. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's important. As a first time home buyer, for instance, if you're a W-2 employee, that's perfect. That's what we look for.
That's
But as
easy for
us,
everybody.
we don't get paid unless we help you find a home.
Right.
So,
Alright, final conditions are done. Once those are complete and everything the underwriting has everything that they need, they can issue a CTC,
ooh,
Chance's favorite.
yeah, clear to close, CTC. At that
Realtors love him when he texts them that.
Yes. At that point, we can schedule the closing. The closer is assigned. The closer then works with title to balance. And once we're balanced, we have the final figure cash to close.
And what's
Um,
balance mean?
balance means all the expenses, all the seller concessions, all the taxes, everything is balanced. We agree on a number of total cash to close, total closing cost, and then we can offset by seller concessions that can be applied towards closing cost. And then what is remaining would be what is required of the buyer.
And we really don't know the closing costs until that moment. We have rough estimate in the beginning of the process, but there's always little things that can come into play that change it a little bit
I always try to over disclose because if I under disclose, then don't have the tolerance to recoup that
to pay it.
cost. So credit reports, appraisals, things like that, we have to disclose. Like my processing fee, like member of my team who I use to help get us to closing. If I don't disclose that fee, I then have to pay for it.
Yeah.
So you just have to disclose and or over disclose. Like I just paid for a reinspection fee, which I didn't tell you. I paid for a reinspection fee for someone. It was $190 and I use smart fees within the lender site to calculate the appraisal cost. I then didn't add a reinspection fee. So because I didn't go back and try to get the tolerance and get it added to the final
You
CD,
had to pay it.
I had to pay $190 myself.
Oh, so it was like,
And I
yeah.
paid it just I wouldn't have had to. I was just trying to be mindful of the situation, speed, pay it, let's get on with it.
All right, CTC,
Before we got off track, I said clear to close.
clear to close.
And at that point, yeah, we already have the closing date set. You come in, make sure you don't forget your money to close if that's the case, and then your
Your
driver's
driver's
license. That's a
license.
big one. They scan it. They have you sign a bunch of documents. And
About this thick. You're gonna sit there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Be
So
prepared to
if
sit
you
for a
think you're
second.
being cute using your middle name and your initials, don't because you have to sign that the way it's printed.
Yeah.
So
Oh gosh, yeah. Actually, that just happened. I had to my clients that are in contract right
yeah,
now, I got a request to, like, "Hey, can you change all the documents for their middle names being inside of it?" And I was like, "Why would you do that?
yeah.
Like, that's gonna really suck. You guys have long middle names."
Mhm. Yeah, that's funny. I do it with my licensing because if you're looking at a list of first and last names and someone has their middle name, the name's gonna stand out.
Schedule your closing, title with company, like you said. What to expect, lots of things to sign,
Mhm.
bring your ID.
Yeah, expect probably an hour.
An hour. Yeah.
Safe number. Come early, leave early, but, normally half an hour to an hour to sign.
Yep.
And then at that point, depending on the contract when you take possession, you might get the keys at closing, or if it's, 30 days until you take possession, you'll get the keys at that point.
Yeah. A lot of times they'll just leave them on the counter.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for listening to our episode 18 on first time home buyers. It's a very important message, and I hope you guys were able to take something away from it. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to me or Chance. We are on social media. Find us on social. We are Married to the Market on YouTube and Spotify, Instagram and Facebook. And then follow us on our business pages. I am CamryStoffel.tc Realty. Chance is chance.thelender. And follow us on YouTube and Spotify. Share us with your friends. And if you are looking to buy your first home, please let us know.